All right, Heather, we are live. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's even earlier for you because you're in Minnesota. What time is it?
7:30.
Oof, you don't have any coffee?
I have coffee. Yep.
Well, cheers. Good morning. So let's do a little bit of an introduction because not everyone knows who you are. I don't know you that well, other than that amazing email you sent out with your incredible before and after picture.
Thank you.
Hold on, Roz is playing music in the background.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. It's blasting. She's blasting some new wave. She's got headphones and she didn't notice. So anyway, you sent out an amazing email. You've been helping the nation grow. And tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, a picture, what is the expression? A picture tells a thousand words and whatnot, but give us your story beyond just, hey, you look incredible.
Right. So I'm just, a normal average person. I didn't really struggle with weight at all in my early 20s. I was always thin in high school. And I guess my turning point on when I started to gain weight and it crept up on me was after I met my husband. And I know for a
I'll
lot
do
of
it.
women that happens. You get comfortable, you're in a relationship, and I feel like I'm a pretty damn good cook. So I tried to impress him with my mad cooking skills and these elaborate 6-course meals with dessert every day. And I was eating for two, basically, the way I look at it now and the portion sizes I was eating. And my weight crept up a lot. Um,
What's a lot? Quantify that for us.
well, I had weighed, when I met my husband, I weighed about 120 pounds. And I'm looking back at pictures yesterday, and in about a year to 15 months, I had went up to 170 pounds.
So 50-pound gain in about a year.
Yep.
That's a serious bulking phase right there.
That's serious bulking phase. And I did not work out. I just had a job. I worked at the hospital and I didn't do anything for exercise. I just ate.
Did
And
your husband, was he giving you the old like nudge nudge, like, hey honey, what are we doing about this? Or was he just, I love you no matter what?
he was a little bit because he was in shape. He had, a 6 pack. He was a runner and had worked out. And so, he was in shape and then I wasn't. Um, and he's in the military and he was called to be on deployment for a year. And I vowed to myself that I was going to be the old Heather that I was when we met when he got home. Um, so I joined a gym. I started eating better. Well, I didn't do it in a healthy way, I guess. I, you know, cut my calories. Some days I was only eating 1,000 calories a day, starving myself, working out 3 hours a day. I lived at the gym, and yeah, I lost 40 some pounds, and I'd say in about a 4 month period.
So and you were going to the gym doing just a normal
Normal
gymnastic
workout.
workout.
Yep, yep. But I never really pushed myself because, like, when my muscles would start hurting, I'd get up and move to the next machine,
So it's basically just, you're burning some calories, wasting time.
wasting time. Yep, listening to my headphones. And I lost the weight, and he was doing CrossFit overseas and wanted me to try it. And I looked it up online. I'm like, there's no way that's for me. About 2 months later, I decided to give it a try. And by then I was thin. I was weighed about 130 pounds or so, and kind of my mentality was this is new for me. I've never worked out in this capacity before, so I could probably eat what I want again and maintain this. Um, yeah, that didn't happen for very long.
Yeah, how much weight did you gain back and how fast?
And it was over a period. I went that up and down phase. It was a yo-yo. But I had crept back up to 165 pounds.
So all that hard work where you lost 40, you wind up putting back on almost all of it.
Yeah, almost all of it. And at this time, I was a CrossFit coach. Shortly after in starting CrossFit, I got my level 1, and I made a career out of it. I was a full-time coach. Um, I was coaching people not only in exercise, but in nutrition as well. But I really wasn't playing the part. I had a horrible diet, horrible. Like, I never ever ate clean or ate healthy, or watched anything. I
So
just,
when you weren't doing that starvation diet and you gained back that weight, what did that look like?
when I gained it back,
Yeah, like what when you say you weren't eating good foods, like what was a typical day of eating for Heather?
I'd usually start the day out with cereal and a lot of it. Like the big bowl.
What's your best cereal? What's your favorite cereal?
I love Captain Crunch.
That's okay. We can be friends.
Yeah, love Captain Crunch. So it wasn't super filling for me. So I would like have the box there and I'd eat my bowl, be like, oh, I'm gonna have some more. So I wasn't watching my portion sizes or anything, and I'd snack all day on, I don't know, donuts, cookies, chips. Our meals always consisted of 3/4 of a plate of carbs and some meat. I wasn't really into eating vegetables. I'd make potatoes and pasta salad. So I had 2 carb sources every day, lunch and dinner.
So what's funny is like now that I'm hearing this and now that you are experienced with flexible eating and have some education there, you know you can eat those foods. So the same foods that you use to gain 45 pounds, where are you at today?
In terms of weight,
Yes.
135 pounds.
So you're down 30 pounds. And while some might listen and say, but you're not at that lightest weight you've been, you're also living a sustainable lifestyle.
I am. I'm living a sustainable lifestyle, and I'm eating the same foods that made me gain the weight.
And you will still get to that weight of 120, 100 if you want to, because you've also probably put on a substantial amount of muscle in the meantime.
Right. I did. And I'm wearing the same clothes as I was wearing when I weighed 125 pounds.
Right. So this is a time where we would refer to, the scale is kind of not the best tool to measure that, but things like your body fat, your measurements, the clothes you're wearing, your performance, in the gym, all of those things are what's important.
Right.
So what are some of the foods you ate or are currently eating that at one point caused you to gain weight, now are actually helping you lose weight?
Donuts. I love donuts.
What's your favorite donut?
I just love a plain cake donut with maple frosting. Anything with maple.
So you're a cake donut person.
I am, but there's a bakery about 40 minutes away from Rochester, and they have Long Johns, and those are the best. But I love a jelly donut too. I mean, they're all good. There's not a bad donut.
I agree that there's not a bad donut. I'm not a huge fan of jelly donuts. Long Johns are just basically unrolled glazed donuts, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I can deal with that. So, how often are you eating donuts?
2 times a week.
That's it?
Probably. But like I'm having other things, I work a part-time job in the mornings in retail, and we have a vending machine, and I often grab a Rice Krispie bar for breakfast.
Ooh, that's good.
I love Rice Krispie bars, and I don't have a ton of time in the morning to eat, like eggs. I'm not much of an egg eater, especially in the morning. So I usually have, one of those sweet breakfast items that somebody looks at you and they're like, well, "You're eating that?" Yeah, I can't.
So, well, on that path, people see you now, and if someone were just to pass you in the street or see you at your job or at the gym, they'd be like, "Oh, that woman's in shape. She's fit. She must eat this way, insert preconceived notion. What do
Mhm.
people say to you when they see you unwrapping that blue Rice Krispie treat wrapper while you're
Right.
working? What are some of the thoughts and things that people have actually said to you about that?
Yeah, they have said, I mean, how you're gonna eat that? I'm like, yeah, I can. And like, well, that's not good. You should be having something, bacon or not even bacon, but eggs, things that are low carbs, because I think a lot of people in their minds when you eat healthy is that you're not eating carbs to lose weight. And, I found that that's the direct opposite. I've had a lot of people come up to me, since the last 6 months or so and have seen my transformation and have asked what kind of program I'm doing. They actually, most of them thought I was on a low carb, high fat, high protein diet. So I've got to the point where, I'm proving to people that no, I'm not, I post pictures of my food. And I think a lot of people are baffled by the idea. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit too. When I started, I was skeptical. I had been following what you were doing for a while, and I'm like, okay, well, everything that I've tried before didn't work, or if it did, I couldn't sustain it in my life because these foods are part of my life. I mean, what kind of life do you have where you're not able to eat your favorite foods? You almost go crazy in the mind because your body and mind start um, craving those. And I feel like when I was on those types of diets, I was a crazy woman. And so it's fitting my lifestyle well. And, people around me are seeing it and finally believing it, um, that you can have the foods that once made you gain weight in moderation, of course. I mean, I'm not eating the same way as I was when I gained the weight because I am aware of the portion sizes and things, but um, everything is good in moderation.
So, what was the tipping point for you? You say you saw some of the stuff we were putting out there.
Yeah.
What was the final? What caused you to say, "I'm going to give this a try"? And then, was there hesitation once you started? Like, what was it like? Okay, I'm going to try this, but I can't eat donuts. And then, what was your path like?
So my tipping point was seeing a picture of myself um, at a boot camp graduation as a commander in the boot camp, and I'm handing out certificates to these people, and it was posted about a day after the graduation, and just looking at myself up there, um, it hit me really hard. And I thought, how are these people taking me seriously? When I'm teaching them about nutrition and I know, what works and what doesn't, but I wasn't walking in my own path. I was, just eating what I wanted and not really caring about that. And so that was my tipping point, and that was early June. And I immediately that following Monday, I think it was, I signed up for the blueprint. And I mean, I dove in, I watched all the videos in one sitting and was starting the next day. And I feel like I really tested the program. I didn't stop eating the stuff that I was eating. I didn't change my diet at all because, it was like I read, okay, so if you do this, you can eat these foods. You don't have to restrict anything. So that was the way I was going to go into it, the way it was laid out.
So you found the blueprint, binge watched me talking for hours, and then got into it, and then so I guess for people that might be watching this that haven't seen the blueprint, it was laid out easy enough for you to get started, and
Oh,
we set it
definitely.
up in a way that you believed us?
Yeah, definitely.
What
Yep.
made you believe us? Like, here I am standing up there talking about it. I could just be bullshitting. What made you believe us?
I believed you because you talked about your own experience and case studies that you had done. And so it wasn't just you, the program had been tested out on people. And I know that anybody can say that, but this type of approach was an approach that I had never tried. I had tried everything else, things that were similar, and this was quite different than anything I tried. So, I was going into it and I'm like, all right, I'm going to trust the plan. Um, and see if this is going to work for me. And I'd say about the first couple weeks, I initially saw I'd lost a couple pounds, and then I gained a couple. And I just kind of was stagnant. And of course, when you're on a diet or trying something new, you want results fast. So a lot of times people will just give up. And instead of giving up, I went back and I looked through my food log because I knew how you explain the importance of being plus or minus 5 macros. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I did that. Let's see if I'm doing something wrong here. Instead of saying, oh, this program isn't working for me because I didn't see the weight loss I wanted in the first 2 weeks. And I wasn't tracking correctly. I guess I was tracking correctly, but I wasn't plus or minus those 5 macros. Some nights I would go to bed and I would still have 30 grams of carbs left or protein. So I reevaluated and really spent the next 2 weeks being diligent about hitting those numbers. And I had changed my macros a little bit initially too. That first 2 weeks I actually went down because I'm like, well, if I eat less food, I'm going to gain or I'm going to lose weight faster. Maybe I didn't figure my macros out correctly the first time. Well, that didn't last long because I knew I wasn't getting enough food. I was feeling sluggish and tired, and I was hungry. So I sat down one more time and I knew I was hitting my numbers and things weren't working. So I played around and changing my macros and in 2 week increments, just waiting to see how my body would respond. And I added food. And there it was. It started coming off and it came off really fast. It came off faster than I expected. I guess my big weight loss started in sometime in the middle of July when I really started seeing my numbers move, and that was probably about 4 or 5 weeks into it. And by September, I was down 20 pounds.
Wow. So pretty counterintuitive that to lose weight you needed to add more food, but then once you did, really got the ball rolling.
Yeah, it just
So you weigh about 135 pounds. Where are your macronutrients?
my
Approximately.
macros are at I'm at I always get it wrong. My protein is at 108. My carbs are at 162 and my fats are at 60.
That's great. I mean, those are great numbers. It allows you a decent amount of flexibility.
Yep.
And long term, as you continue, you're going to see those go up and you're going to be allowed to have more Long Johns and Captain Crunch.
Right.
So what's the next step? What's your goal moving forward with flexible eating?
To continue um, to continue it. It's easily fits in my lifestyle, because I don't have to make a separate meal for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have to, and just to spread the word. There's so many people out there that have that I know can relate to my story on gaining weight, losing some, gaining it all back and more, and losing some. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, my best advice is for people to trust the process, and to be true to yourself and your numbers. If you know, if you're snacking extra and not putting it in there, you're only lying to yourself, and you're not trusting the program.
Absolutely. And you currently coach still and help people with the boot camp?
I do not.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. Made a bit of a career change. I am going to be coaching a little bit part time, but yeah,
So
no.
you meet someone new, say you're coaching part-time, and they come in and they say, Heather, how do you eat? What do you think is the best response to not make them think what you're doing won't work for them? You know, in other words, you tell someone, yeah, well, this is what I do, you should try it. They're going to say, cool, that works for you. I can't eat donuts. You know, what's your elevator pitch for flexible eating?
My elevator pitch is it's a program to where you're conscious about what you're eating, but nothing is restricted. Um, you know, if you want to, you know, if you enjoy to go out and have a burger and fries, you know, then you can do that, but you can't eat that way all day long. You know, we eat out a lot, and that's the first thing I do is I put it in my Fitness Pal as my dinner so that I can plan the rest of my day around it. And, you know, that may mean that I'm having vegetables and some meat for dinner and no carbs or fats. But that excitement and knowing that I get to go to the restaurant and order, you know, pretty much whatever I want. It's freedom. It's freedom in your eating choices and being able to lose weight. I've been that person too that has said it's not going to work for me. I can't eat donuts. Donuts make me fat, and you know, I proved to myself that it is something that I can do, and the program allowed me to do that, and it worked. And it's not only working for me, but it's working for thousands of other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like what you said there. It's freedom. I think that's one of the best ways to summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great job with your progress so far, and I'm sure more to come. People will see you more and more in the nation, and some emails from Heather going out. So thank you for your hard work, and thanks for all you've done for the nation. And let's have a continued success.
Thank you for creating this awesome program.
Well, you're very welcome.